Welcome to Sololaki, my home. This is where I was born and raised. It's the oldest neighbourhood in Tbilisi, and it lives in the shadow of the mother of Georgia. There's an old legend about Sololaki I used to hear all the time. If you're from here, if you're born in Sololaki, you can walk these hills and not get tired, not even out of breath. And that's how you recognise outsiders here. They're the ones huffing and puffing and sweating. Every time I'm here though, I disprove that legend. These hills are hard. Some of the streets are so steep, honestly, they seem like an optical illusion sometimes. A lot of Sololaki looks like it's about to fall apart. But then, it's looked like this for decades. It looked like this when I was growing up. And my mum tells me it looked very much like this when she was little. I don't know what keeps these buildings standing. Magic, maybe? Whenever I'm in Tbilisi, I always find myself coming back to Sololaki. We sold our flat here, so there isn't really an overt reason for me to come back. But I always do, and I just wander around for hours. Maybe walk past my old school, or past the house my friend doesn't live in anymore. My novel, called Hard by a Great Forest, has Sololaki very much at its heart. This ancient district is where the Trail of Clues really begins, and it sends my protagonist on a search that eventually spans all of Georgia. And so in my own life, we left Tbilisi and Sololaki behind and we came to London. And I hated London for the longest time. I didn't speak the language, I didn't have any friends here, so of course I hated it. But London is an amazing city. Right now we're in a place called Little Georgia, which is a Georgian restaurant in Islington in North London. And we have real Georgian food here, khachapuri and lobiani. This stuff would have been great in the 90s. I missed the food so much back then. I didn't go back home until I was well into my 20s, late 20s. I had a British passport by then, thanks to a carpet amnesty from Tony Blair on asylum cases. Georgia was becoming a better place to be. The war was long over, so it was time to go back. That first time was rough. I remember I turned up in Tbilisi airport and it all hit me all at once. The smell of the place, the people, the language. I was not prepared for it that first time. I think I cried in the taxi on the way into the city, which is a good 30-minute drive. I'm not sure why. I wasn't upset. It's just, maybe it's because I remembered so much more of the city than I thought I would. And I guess that planted the seed for my novel, trying to express those strange feelings I felt in that taxi on the way home. Apart from the scenery, the sea and the mountains in Georgia, I fell in love with the Georgian people. They're amazingly warm-hearted, generous, always funny, and all this in the face of everything bad that's rolled through that tiny country. There's been invasions, occupations, poverty, the Soviet Union, you name it. And in the face of that, the people have stayed as generous as they are. And when I started to draft my novel, I wanted to introduce the reader to Georgia and its people, to do them justice. From there, the main themes of the book developed. I found myself writing about, the trauma of war and displacement, a kind of subtle, family-level trauma that gets handed down from generation to generation, like a keepsake. There's no shortage of these painful experiences, and the stuff that we're seeing today is going to play out for decades, like it always has. But within my own book, at least, I wanted to face this trauma and beat it and come out smiling, like I've seen so many Georgians do.